Hi guys, welcome to another video. So today we're going to be chatting about my goals for 2025. So every year I set goals, and I think for the past few years I've been recording a video about my plans. So we're going to review the goals that I set in 2024, and then we'll chat about what I'm planning for 2025. Last year I set about 6 goals, first of which was to max out my retirement account, which I did do. So this year or last year, I put $24,000 into my 401k/403b. Then I put $7,000 into my Roth IRA, and then the limit at the time for the HSA was $4,150, and I maxed that out as well. So yay for me. And then next up was to pay off my Lexus. I had at the time $19,642 left on my Lexus, which I bought. It's about 2 going on 3 years now. I didn't end up making that goal because I didn't save the full amount. I only saved half of the amount. So my car will be paid off this year, and as you see, I'm going to add it to the goals for this year. Next goal that I had was to decrease my belongings by half, and this did not happen. I did do some sales of some of my items. I donated a few things, but I didn't decrease them to the degree that I wanted to. So that didn't happen. So yet another thing that I need to work on this year as well. And then the other goal was to learn French. And I think for the first 6 months of the year, I was very good about this. So I was like watching French YouTube videos, doing Duolingo, and I had a few French audiobooks as well. Then I kind of like fell off at some point. Not entirely sure why. I think I just found another focus, and it didn't happen. And I also noted that personally I cannot learn another language without being immersed. It just doesn't work because the default is always to go back to English. So yeah, so I put that on pause towards the end of the year, and I don't feel terrible about it because I did learn some French. Like I was just in France a few weeks ago, and it was cool because I understood way more French than I did in the past. So it's not something that I'm giving up on entirely. I'm just like shelving it for now until I can find some way to learn it effectively. So yeah. The other goal that I had was to do more social activities, and this I did do. I was looking back at my calendar and I was very busy. I was like out all the time. And lots of the time solo, like particularly in the beginning before I met my boyfriend. I didn't meet my boyfriend last year, so that was one benefit of making a goal to be more social. So yeah, I went to New York Fashion Week in the beginning of the year. I went to so many trips, a couple with my friends, a few solo, and then a few with my boyfriend. And then even locally, I was finding events like on a weekly basis. It was like a whole thing. It definitely requires a lot of energy unless you just happen to be in the know about what's going on always. But yeah, it was a fun exercise to do, just to like challenge myself to do something that I wouldn't normally do, because as you guys know, or may not know, I am introverted, so it's not my default to like want to be out and about, but sometimes when I do it, I do enjoy it a lot. So yes. And then the next goal, or the last goal that I had for last year, was to do a body recomposition journey, which I actually did do. It's an interesting thing. It's kind of something that is in flux. Like at one point in time, I did, like, in my opinion, achieve like my ideal body, but it changes basically month to month. Like I went on vacation, then my body changed, then I came back and like got it back to where it needed to be, and then now I'm like once again having been on another vacation, like working on getting it back to where it needs to be. But it was good because I learned the foundations of getting that done. So of course, number one is nutrition, and then actually weightlifting and increasing like your energy expenditure through walking, moving about, doing activities, etc. So yes, I did accomplish that. So overall, I feel as though, even though I didn't meet half of the goals that I set, but I don't feel any way about it. So like priorities change, things don't happen, and nothing particularly detrimental happened because I didn't fulfill these goals, and then some great things did happen regardless of my goal setting. So I feel okay about 2024. Now let's move on to what I'm planning for 2025. So I have divided this into a few categories because I have more goals this year than I did last year. So first up on the personal side is to grow my hair to bra strap length. So that means about, I think here, and I'm pretty sure it's there, but the bra strap usually is in the back, but I'm just showing you guys from the front. So that is my goal for this year. So I have been trying for years to grow my hair. In my early 20s, I was able to grow my hair to that length. Then somehow with life, it broke off, / I cut it off. And since then I've been like struggling to retain length, but I have finally, I spent all of last year basically being regimented and figuring out what works and what didn't work, and changing things based on how my wash day went the previous week. So I finally narrowed it down to a science, and I know what my hair likes, and I've managed to get my breakage down significantly. So I think this is a good year to aim for getting to that length. So I measured my hair, I think a couple of days ago, and currently the longest part of my hair is 11 inches. And I'm hoping to retain 4 to 6 inches. That will get me to 15 to 17 inches of hair by the end of the year, and that would be enough to be bra strap. So that is something that I'm going to be working on this year. And then other things on the personal side is to improve body functionality. So that is different from my body recomposition goal, because now I already know how to do those things. So what I'm focusing on is increasing my flexibility, which I have done. It took me a while to figure this out, and I actually figured it out because I went to yoga at the Eiffel Tower session when I was in Paris. Like, I'm not sure, was it last year or the year before that? And I was speaking to the yoga instructor, and she said, I was telling her that I've been doing yoga on and off for years now, and I feel like my flexibility is now where it should be. And she told me I have to do yoga every day. So from that point forward, I started doing yoga every day, and I have noticed a difference in my flexibility. However, I feel once again that I have stalled. So my plan is to do different asanas or types of yoga. So I'm challenging my body in a different way, and hopefully that gets me to be even more flexible. And the reason for all of this focus on body functionality is because I have a lot of, how would you say, like musculoskeletal ailments. Like, I think I just have like a propensity to get these type of problems. Like I mentioned before, that I had issues with my wrists, I had issues with my back as well, and then my knees are also giving me issues. So I need to start working on some things to help to keep that at bay. I mean, it could just be part of aging, although I am quite young, so it's a little premature, but I'm trying to do the best that I can to keep it at bay. So in addition to working on flexibility, I'm looking to increase my movement. So walking, I do walk at least 30 minutes a day on my off days. And then I'm thinking about getting a walking pad as well, so that I can actually be walking when I'm like doing work on the computer, which I spend several hours doing. So that would be helpful. And then I'm thinking about improving my strength in other ways. So I do Pilates. So the Pilates, I'm usually with a different Pilates instructor every time. So they change the movements and the plan. So that should be helpful. And then I was reading about the fact that lots of pain that we have in our muscles and joints, etc., could be due to an imbalance. So an imbalance in one of the muscles, like one is stronger than the other, and that creates pain. So I've been working on doing more unilateral movements, which is new for me. I think in my current exercise regimen, I have perhaps one unilateral movement, which is Bulgarian split squats. So I am increasing that to 3 unilateral movements and see how that helps. So that is the plan there. Moving on, we're going to be decluttering. Yet again, we're going to try and declutter. It's always a goal of mine to do that, even though, you know, historically it has happened not to the degree that I wanted to. But yes, we're going to declutter items and then simplify my possessions and wardrobe, because I just don't use a lot of the things that I have, and it's like, why is it here? Lots of the things are still in good condition, so I think somebody will enjoy having them. So that's the plan there. And in relation to that, I am in the process of looking for a home. So that's the last goal in this section, is to purchase my ideal home. So actually, in this moment in time, I have put an offer in on a home, and I'm starting the home buying process. So that is both exciting and terrifying at the same time, because as you guys know, I don't know that I'm frugal, but I have a very low cost of living, which allows me to do a lot of the things that cost lots of money. So travel, I'm able to travel a lot because my cost of living is low. And if you notice me buying a bunch of things, it's because my cost of living is low as well. So buying a home definitely alters my finances, or it will alter them in the future. So that's where the terror comes in. So yes, but if I do purchase a home, then other thing that I would need to do is to renovate this home in order to turn it into a rental. So that's another thing. And then because of the increased expenses, I might have to get out of semi-retirement, which is what I've been doing. So in the past, I worked full time like most people. And then I think a couple of years ago, I went down to part-time. So I only work on average 20 hours a week right now. If I do end up with a house, then that will have to change. So that's all something that I will bring you guys along for whatever happens. Now let's move on to business. So business basically involves YouTube, or the social media thing that I have going on here. So I've said this multiple times before, but YouTube is kind of a thing that I have a love and hate relationship with, but I have decided to give it a good run, as in commit to doing one video a week for all of the year. So that totals 56 videos for the year. Because I was looking back on my YouTube content, and in my mind, it was better than I thought it was. It's a little spotty in terms of what videos I have created and how often I have created them. So I would like to give it a year of concerted effort to see if that makes a difference in terms of growth. So that is the plan. And then, as I've said before, I'm going to try to get into short form content. I did start a TikTok, made one short, and have not gone back to it. But now I know that it is possible. I just have to find a way to incorporate it into my day-to-day activities. It's just one other thing that I need to do and make it a priority. So that's going to be it for the business side. Now let's move on to my favorite side, and probably yours if you have been on this channel before, which is going to be the financial side. In terms of money, I would like to go on a no spend / low buy year, and these are the categories that I would like to do that in. So they are for sure going to be in the beauty category for sure. I love beauty care like most women, or lots of women. So I need to cut back on skincare, body care, and hair care. And my goal for that is to only purchase replacements. So this last Black Friday, I stocked up on a bunch of things because they were on sale. And now I have a bunch of things. So I'm thinking that I need to be using up those things before I purchase new things. The problem is that all these sales come about and I feel obligated to buy things because they're on sale, and I need to just get out of that habit, because then it just leaves me with a constant surplus of things, which is just not a vibe. So that is the plan in that regard. So only purchasing replacement for those items. And then in terms of clothing, shoes, and handbags, so basically fashion, I would like to implement a 1 in, 1 out rule. So this is going to help me with the whole decluttering thing. So if I purchase something, then I need to sell or donate something similar so that I don't have an increase in the amount of things that I have. So that is the plan. I did want to talk about how much I spent last year on these items though, because I think that's kind of a fun thing to do. In terms of skin and body care, this is combined because sometimes I make purchases at Sephora and I don't always like divvy up what's skincare, what's body care, but I spent $1,810 on those categories. And then hair care, I spent $323 on. I don't think these are crazy amounts of money to spend on these things. However, I have more than I need, so I definitely think it's worthwhile to decrease that spending amount. And then in terms of clothing, clothing and shoes, those are also things that I usually buy simultaneously sometimes. So I spent $3,197 on that category, and I have definitely spent more than that in the past. So I don't think it's a terrible amount. However, when I think back to or try to picture what I bought, I cannot. So that definitely needs to be adjusted. But I'm not going to not buy clothing and fashion things because I enjoy doing that. I just need to curate what I'm buying a little bit more. And then handbags, I spent $1,000, which for me, in comparison to past times when I have bought handbags, is a very low number, because there was a phase where I was buying lots of designer handbags, and as you know, those run in the thousands. So I was spending thousands upon thousands of dollars on handbags. So $1,000 is pretty good, and I managed to do that because I started going to estate sales and thrifting and getting things used. So it's a deep discount, and it's actually fun because you can get more bags and then you have more unique pieces. So in total, for all those categories, I spent $6,407. Could I have used that $6,000 for something else? Absolutely. However, at the same time, I'm not going to deprive myself of things that I enjoyed purchasing, but I do think I can do a little better in that category. Now, moving on to retirement accounts. So same thing as always, I plan to max my retirement accounts. I will probably forever max my retirement account unless something dire happens. So 401k, 403b, the max for this year has increased by 500. So it's going to be 2,300, 500. And then the Roth IRA is the same. It's 7,000. And then the HSA has gone up to 4,300. And I have videos about retirement, how I retire, and I actually plan to do a video shortly about the Roth IRA and how I fund that. So if you're interested in that type of content, then I will leave some links for you. So in total for retirement accounts, I should be able to invest $34,800. And then another thing that I would like to do is invest. This is going to be money that I get from my actual paychecks. So I want to invest $5,000. So this whole $5,000 came about because most of my retirement accounts are pre-tax dollars, and the only thing that is after-tax dollars is the Roth IRA. And if I invest between the Roth IRA for $7,000 and the investing that I'm doing by myself for $5,000, that's about $12,000 a year, which is $1,000 a month. And that's how that comes in. So that is the bare minimum amount of money that I want to invest after taxes. And if I happen to make more, such as if I go back to working closer to full time, then I will increase that amount as well. But right now it's gonna be $5,000. And then last year was my full year with an HSA. So I have learned that because of the fact that I have an HSA, which is attached to a high deductible insurance account or insurance, medical insurance, then I end up having to pay more out of pocket, which I feel is a worthwhile thing to endure for the fact that I get to invest this money tax-free, and then later in life I get to withdraw the money tax-free. So because of that, however, I do have a $1,600 deductible that I have to spend that amount of money before my insurance kicks in. So I decided to start saving for that for the following year. So that involves saving $133 per month. And I spent a good amount on healthcare last year. I believe I spent close to $3,000. I was at the doctor randomly for all my minor ailments, and I go to therapy once a month at least, and then I have a few medications that I take. So all of that added up. So it would be good to have that $1,600 like off the bat, so that when those larger bills come in, I can pay them. And then after that, I just pay like, I think at 10% off each medical related expense, which is a lot more tolerable on a month-to-month basis. And then the final thing in the finances is going to be to pay off my Lexus. So this is going to be the year that I will not have a car payment anymore, which is very exciting. So I am projected to finish paying off my car in April. So I have 4 more payments to make, and then I will be done with that, and it's just very exciting to be done with it. It's a very large car payment because of the way I structured the loan, but in my opinion, it was worth it. I love my car. It's been great. I haven't had any problems, and it's a joy to drive. So yes, that is going to be it for my 2025 goals. As always, I love to hear what your goals are as well. And let me know if you're doing anything similar to what I'm doing, and also what you're doing differently. I am always adjusting and tweaking things. So in 6 months, I will do a check-in to see where I'm at and if I need to change anything, and then we'll go from there. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.